Hey everyone, Josh here with a look at another Star Wars toy, and today we're going to unbox a Darth Maul figure from the Archive series. So let's go set this guy free. Alright everyone, here we are with a 6-inch Black Series. This is Darth Maul from the Archive collection. And this figure is from Wave 2 of the Archive collection. And if you're not totally familiar with who and what is in Wave 2, there are 4 figures in each wave. And in this wave, you have Darth Maul, Yoda, Anakin Skywalker from Episode 3, and a Scout Trooper. And we're going to unbox Darth Maul today, but before we get that far, let me just quickly spin the packaging around, let you guys take a look at it. And I ordered mine online, so you can see I had a little shipping damage, but from what I can tell, the figure in there looks fine, so I'm going to go ahead and unbox this guy. But there's what the back of the packaging looks like. And so for those of you who may not know, what this is a re-release of a figure from 2013, and so that's why they have the date on there. And and they're showing you a picture of the original packaging of what the first release of this figure looked like, and it was in the older style of Black Series packaging, which I've heard referred to as the orange stripe or blue stripe packaging, and you can see why, because in the package there you have this large orange stripe running through. But real quick, I'll read the character description to you. It's very short. The evil Sith apprentice Darth Maul engages in a fierce lightsaber duel with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, of course, there they are referencing the duel from the Phantom Menace. And so, let's go ahead and cut this guy out of here. I'm dying to get my hands on a Darth Maul Black Series figure. And this is the first one in my collection, so I'm pretty excited about this. So, I wanted to try a different technique for opening this guy. I've had some collectors make some suggestions to me on the comment section about how to open these things with maybe preserving the pack a little more, and so I was going to give that a try today, and I'm not sure if my little knife is sharp enough for this, but what I'm going to try to do here is cut the bottom of the bubble out instead of pulling it off the card, and see if we can slide him out that way. Oops. Okay, I'm still butchering it, but just trying to preserve the card a little bit more, the actual packaging. So what I'm doing is just cutting 3 sides of the bottom out here, and I'm going to see if he'll slide out. So then you have the cardboard insert. There's nothing to it. And then you can see all the accessories a little clearer now, but there we go. That is working good. So there you go. So you preserve the packaging, even though mine's damaged a little bit, but you get the idea what we're going for here. So here he is in the little tray. And so, of course, you have Darth Maul, his lightsaber, which is in 2 parts, his binoculars, and a alternate head here. So let's see how this all interacts. And just, I'm going to throw this out here to anyone from the Hasbro world that may be listening. We need a Black Series Sith Speeder, please, from the Phantom Menace. But let's just go ahead and take a look at Darth Maul himself. And here he is. Very cool. So the outer robe appears to be plastic, and I was kind of wondering how this is going to work with the alternate head here. And then it looks like some of the whole thing is a flexible, like, rubber material. And then you do have some cloth on the inside a little bit, mixed with some more flexible plastic or rubber. But I'm just kind of curious how this is all going to work, because he has an alternate head and what we're looking at here. So let's go ahead and see if we can, what the deal is with the alternate head, and can we get this off. So, okay, what I'm seeing here is the hood is actually appears to be glued to the robe. So I think if you want to remove the robe, what you have to do, and So you don't have to fight your figure. One of the best ways I found to do this is you point their arms so they're kind of pointed to the back like that. And you kind of poke them through there. Okay, and it doesn't really appear that this robe is much more than a display piece, because it doesn't look like you're going to get a lot of movement out of him. So I'm going to go ahead and try and pull the head off here. Okay, so there you go. That's what happens when you pull the head off, and you can see they glued the head into the robe. So if you want to have him as robed Darth Maul, that's how that works. You can see how the sleeves are. They got large cutout here for you to pull the arm through, and you have a little flap, but that's why you have an alternate head. You can't see the spikes on his head. And there you can see the face sculpt. It's pretty good. I'm impressed. I like it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to pop out the alternate head, and since we're doing it, we'll go ahead and pop out the rest of his accessories, including his lightsaber, so we're not fooling with that. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the lightsaber. So what you have here is, and I'm trying to get my camera to focus on something really small here, so I apologize. Okay, so what you have here is, of course, the two halves, and I'm wondering, okay, so the blade is removable from the lightsaber, and it just snaps in there. You can hear it click. But so what you have here is the end is got like a kind of a circle with a straight side on it, and you have a little peg or a hole like that. And my camera is being crazy. Okay, so you can see there's like a circle with a flat side, hole, and a peg that's similar, so you can line them up. And the reason you want to do that, and it's a pretty tight little fit, is so you get the buttons all in line. And then you can see here he's got what appears to be a belt clip piece, but there you go. I got a little warp in mine, but there you go. There's what the lightsaber looks like. Then you have what appears to be his binoculars from Tatooine. Oops. And then, of course, why we got into this whole thing is the head sculpt. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the other head on there, and there you go. That's what he looks like with the alternate head on, the one without the hood. And I'm trying to see if there's any real difference in the face sculpt. It looks, he looks a little more like squinted and a little more angry with that one is what I'm getting. But real quick here, before we get into accessory interaction, let's run through his movement. So as you saw when you remove the head, it is on a ball joint. So you should have almost full rotation. You have up and down. And so quickly looking here at his arms, we'll start at his shoulders. Of course, you have the up and down, a rotation at the shoulder. And let's see here. You have a rotation at the elbow and an up and down movement as well. And then you have a rotation at the wrist and an up and down at the wrist. And just in general, looking at both hand sculpts, they look pretty identical, because again, he's just going to hold a lightsaber, and he's got, but you just have what's pretty much your standard open fist type. And then at his midsection here, or his body, where you have articulation, is at the waist, and you can see it's like a full side to side, back and forth. And let's see here, it doesn't feel like he wants to spin all the way around, and he doesn't. You don't. Well, okay, so you can push it. It looks like you can force it, and I don't want to break him, but you can see because of the shape of his body, once you start to get to where he's rotating more, where he's going to go all the way around, it starts to get stiff and tight, and I think that's because the shape of his body, once you start pushing it, it's like trying to force two ovals around through each other. But I mean, that's way more than enough movement that you need to pose him and do things like that. So then going down to his legs here, and again looking at his clothing, the outer part is the flexible plastic, and then the inner part is actual cloth. So there's one flap of cloth in the back, and then there's three in the front. So you have two thin strips and then a thicker, shorter one in the front there. And he's kind of a tricky character to film, being all black and everything. But so going down from there, you have, and it's all underneath his robing here, you have forward and backward articulation where his leg connects to his body, and then also up here on the upper leg you have a full rotation, so you can rotate his leg, and then you have knee just back and forth on the knee joint, and let's see here, at the foot you have a back and forth and a rotation, which seems to be pretty standard for Black Series. So, all right. Very good. And I got to be honest, my preference is to have him without the robe on. I think he looks better without it. So, of course, we have the binoculars. And let's see here. Can we get a good pose with him? I should be able to. Okay, so one of the things I'm seeing here is it looks like the wrists are different. Okay, yeah, so with what would be his left hand, you have a rotation and a back and forth like that. And then with this hand, which would be his right hand, you have what's a rotation and then a back and forth in the other direction, an up and down from the thumb to the pinky, where this is from the palm to the back of the hand. And I believe the reason they're doing that is for the binoculars, would be my guess, because that makes more sense, because I'm trying to get him to pose with the binoculars here, and what I'm needing is a different way of his wrist moving. So there you go. You have to put the binoculars in what would be his right hand, and they do line up pretty good. And that's because you have the articulation from thumb to pinky versus palm to back of the hand. But you can see, lines up, looks natural, very good. And real quick here, I'll show you guys again the binoculars. It's not a whole lot to them. There's a little gray and black paint, a little bit of brown paint for, looks like they're dirty, and I don't appear to see any moving parts. So, and then of course we have the lightsaber, and again the blades come out, and then you can separate the two halves, so you have two separate lightsabers. And it's holding together really well. I always get worried about a piece like this where you have a handle that snaps together and comes apart, but it fits really tight. It's staying together really well. So I'm really impressed with that. And again, you can see mine has a little bit of warpage, but you just give it a bend in the opposite direction, and that usually you can fix it. And then so what I'm seeing here is, okay, very interesting. So if you look on his belt right here, you will see a little tiny hole on what appears to be like a little buckle or something. And then if you look on one piece of the lightsaber, you can see there's a little peg sticking out, and it's only on one piece. And so I guess if you wanted to, you can either put a half of the lightsaber on his belt, and you kind of have to twist it due to the robing right there. It doesn't really fit in an up and down position because you're hitting on the robe under his arm. There's a little stick out part, and there's a little stick out part on this rubber piece on the back, so you kind of have to put it in an angle like that, but it's staying in there good. It's nice and tight. And then let's just, for thoroughness, okay, I thought the second blade wasn't going to come out. Will it hold together if you put the whole lightsaber together? Will it stick on his belt and stay? Whoops. I'm going to say I think so, because it's sticking in there pretty good. Alright, so there you go. If you want to put his whole, both pieces of his lightsaber on his belt, you can do that. Very cool. Very cool. I like that. Alright, so of course we need to see how he interacts with the lightsaber, with both blades in here. And so let's check this out here. Because he does have a fairly, the handle on his lightsaber is fairly large, so come on everybody, there we go. Okay, and of course, obviously, there's going to be multiple poses that you're going to be able to do with him and this lightsaber because of all the articulation points, and you can get the hands pretty close together. So, and again, you can see how it's putting a little bit of pressure on the figure, or putting a little bit of pressure on the lightsaber. It's bending it a little bit, but it's staying together. It's not breaking. It seems to me they put a little bit of, I don't know if it was done intentionally, that they put a little bit of flexibility in the lightsaber handle. The blades feel pretty stiff, but they put a little bit of flexibility in the handle, I believe, just for this reason. So when you're posing him and you're trying to get him to hold this thing, there's a little bit more play in it, and it seems like he holds it a little bit better the further apart you put his hands, because you're just putting a little bit of less pressure on it. And again, you know, with all the articulation points on this guy, there's going to be so many ways you can pose him with this thing. So, alright guys, let's give him the final test. Does Darth Maul stand on his own 2 feet? And yes, he does. There you go. Alright everyone, there he is from the 6-inch Black Series Archive Collection Wave 2. This is Darth Maul from Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And thanks for watching everyone, I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the videos, I hope you like the reviews. And if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe to the channel. We would love to have your support here. And thank you so much everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.